And a good evening, everybody. Chris McDonald back with you. We're grateful to have you, and we're back for our late night special. Now, we've been doing these more frequently than we've been wanting to, the double feature shows, and all I can tell you is don't get used to it. We're trying to do one a night, but the news has been so busy and so forth, and that's one reason why we're doing the radio show during the day from 2 to 3 on K-Star, because that really is our news report. And we play a lot of videos, a lot of clips. I don't talk as much, even though I talk, but we try to give the headlines, and that was really my goal in going on the radio. But I do enjoy these late night shows with you sometimes. It sort of gives me some time to get some things done because this 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour comes up on me so quick, and I don't have much time during the week to get a lot done. And but we're gonna get some rest next week. We won't be with you. That's one of the reasons we're doing some double features this week. We've given you 4 shows already by Tuesday night. We'll have a show tomorrow night, Thursday at noon. We're going to have a special July 4th presentation. We will be on here Thursday night. And then Friday the 4th, as of now, we may be on in the morning to just wish you a happy 4th of July. And then we will be gone the entire week of July, from July the 4th all the way through the 13th will be the next time we'll be on with the Sunday morning service. Now that's up in the air. We're going to try to attend Brother Swaggart's funeral. As of now, we've heard rumblings that it will be the 13th, that Sunday night. But we'll just play that by ear next week. But we will not be with you next week at all unless we come on and do it'll be by phone, Facebook Live or a YouTube Live or a short or something like that, with some thoughts here and there, and we may take you on tour where we're going. I don't want to give that out right now. It's going to be some time along with my wife, and we're going to enjoy the rest. We've both been going through quite a bit physically lately, and just need a time to recharge the battery and get ready for this summer. I do encourage you to be with me in the morning on the Faith Network. I've got something I want to share with you. It's very, very prophetic, and Lord's dealt with my heart a little bit about it tonight. I don't want to deal with it tonight on this show, but I do want to talk about it with my faith group, my Bible students, in the morning, and we'll be on around 10 o'clock on the faith side. You don't want to miss it, and we may even go extended tomorrow. We may go an hour and a half, and all. But please be with us for that. And then tomorrow night we will have our Wednesday night fellowship as normal, and so forth. And then again our radio show tomorrow afternoon and Thursday, and then starting Friday, Thursday the radio show will be replays all next week. And you may hear some of the interviews again that we've had on this network, and so forth. So join us for that. We're grateful to have everybody tonight, and I'm sure more folks will be coming in. And Rosemary, I have no idea what the new crown and symbol stand for. Might want to ask YouTube about that, because I have no idea. Nick Sinanas, good to see you tonight, buddy. Good to see you. Angie Rubeck, good to see you. Carol Smith's back tonight with us. Rosemary, Jennifer, Mary Cleveland, Susan Prusky, Salty Mary, Rosemary, Mary Cleveland. Good to see everybody over in YouTube tonight. And we've got our crowd over on Facebook. Pat and Deb Dolan are back. Elaine back. Cheryl White's back in the house. Anna and Jenny Castellanova's back. And we're always grateful to have you all join us for these late night shows and the early bird shows, and anytime we can come on, we are grateful to have you. Did you enjoy Nick Giordano tonight? I will tell you what, I guess I told you earlier tonight, I could sit and listen to him for 6 hours and not miss a beat. I just could. And William Federer is another one. And very, very good men, both historians. Bill is faith-based, and Nick is a professor at a college in New York, and just gave us a lot of very good insight tonight to what's going on constitutionally with our country, and some things that he gave his opinion about the immigration. And I agree for the most part in principle everything he said. I think that me and him may differ just slightly, and it's not a difference, it's just perspective. And I think if I got down with him at lunch and sat down and talked to him and talked it all out to the end, that me and him would probably agree. We'd be agreeing with each other that people are taking advantage of this birth citizenship situation. And it's like President Trump said over the weekend, I may have said it yesterday, that this law, actually it was Friday, because he said this when the Supreme Court came down on his side regarding this case, that this law that the ACLU and the other these appellate judges were hanging their hat on to stop the agenda for him to deport people under that Alien Enemies Act and these other acts that he's passed by executive order. He basically said that that law was written for slaves. It was not written for people to come in here and take advantage of the country, and that's what it's being used for. And so I think Nick's idea about that, he's sort of cautious about not deporting babies and naturally born citizens. I'm okay with that, but if the motive is found to be to stay in the country as mom and dad, then I think you've got a problem. And Tom Holman, I think, said it wisely here several weeks ago. It's been several months now, when that reporter cornered him and tried to get him to show sympathy for these families that were being deported and separated. And he said, look, we're all about keeping families together. And he said the whole family can be deported at the same time. I thought that was the line. I thought that was the line of the century myself. So we got to play this for the first time tonight. I just think that's elementary, my dear Watson. It's elementary, my dear Watson, and so I'm okay with that. I understand the humanitarian situation, and he is right about the fact that public opinion would turn on Trump very quickly the first time we see a little girl or a child crying for their mom and dad, and the mom and dad's being hauled off and they're being left here. I am certain that the country would not that would move on the heartstrings of these liberals and a lot of people on the right, and then it'd be thrown on the wall that, well, this is not the Christian thing to do, and this is the inhumane thing to do, and all this stuff that they always do when this stuff goes out. I saw a comment in the chat earlier tonight, and I addressed it, but I want to address it again tonight, folks. We do not need to be falling for the same rhetoric that the left does all the time about this BBB, this big, beautiful bill. And that's Trump's words. I don't know what you call this bill right now. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty about it, and we discussed that earlier tonight with Professor Nick, and they're basing their optimism on the bill, the cabinet and the Trump administration and the Republicans, on expected growth that is coming, and we will see. We will see if that takes place. But the left is doing their typical: mama's going to die, grandmamas are going to die, grandma's going to be thrown off the cliff. You're not going to get Medicaid, and elderly people are going to be kicked out of nursing homes, and all this crap. And Marco Rubio tonight, he closed USAID. The USAID agency is no more. And CNN went out tonight and literally said that 14 million people will die as a result of that. Now, I wonder where they get that figure from. Some think tank out there did some kind of investigative report, and they've come up with this figure that because we're going to stop the waste, fraud, and abuse of the USAID organization, that 14 million people are going to die. And there are people that buy into that mess, and people that get moved by that, and people get freaked out about that, and people lose their freaking lunch about that. And we don't need to. We don't need to lose our lunch over it. It's just rhetoric. It's to cause people to freak out and fear. Same thing they did to us, tried to do to us with the masks. Same thing they did to us with the vaccines. I've got to say this. I was reading some comments, and I don't want to address them tonight because I just, if I do, it's going to ruin the show. I need to sleep on it. But I've watched the news wires closely today because Brother Swaggart died, and there were, of course, things way back in the 80s that happened. And I've been very curious how the regular news media would handle his death. And pretty much true to form, they did exactly what I thought they would do. And we're going to talk about that. We may even talk about that on tomorrow night's Face Show. We might even do an early bird Faith Chat and me chat with myself and talk about Brother Swaggart and the ministry there. And Josh Rosenstern said he will be back with us as soon as he can. He was very distraught today. I talked to Josh and I talked to Mark Coleman out there in the ministry. It's a tough day, folks. It's been a tough day for the people at Sun Life Broadcasting and Family Worship Center, as would be obvious. Brother Swaggart was a staple in Baton Rouge for 72 years. He was from Faraday, Louisiana. And yes, he was the first cousin of Jerry Lee and Lewis and Mickey Gilley. And they all three grew up learning to play the piano together at the same time. And, of course, Brother Swaggart went the way of faith, and Jerry Lee and Mickey went the way of country music. And there's so many stories about that relationship. And there were times that Jerry Lee mocked Brother Swaggart and Mickey mocked him, and and I think they all seemed to reconcile there at the end. There was he put out 2 CDs right before Jerry Lee Lewis died in 22. One, actually, he put out a CD with Jerry Lee Lewis right before Jerry Lee died, and then he put another album out with Mickey Gilley. They did some gospel hymns right before Mickey Gilley passed in 23. And now Brother Swaggart has gone on to be with Jesus. And but I don't want to get into that tonight. But one of the comments I saw, and I figured this was going to be brought up because the Swaggarts did take the vaccine back in 21. And somebody likened his death tonight to the vaccine, not to the fact that Brother Swaggart was 90 years old. And I have seen all sorts of crazy stuff out there and some ugly stuff out there. There are a lot of Christians that have acted Christ-like, which is good. But there's a lot of Christians that have not acted Christ-like. And the media sure ain't acted Christ-like. And we'll discuss that later. I don't want to get into that tonight, some of the quotes. But I just threw that out because the vaccine is still being, again, made out to make people fear instead of walk in faith. And the same group that is telling you grandma's going to go off the cliff was the same group telling you if you didn't take the vaccine you were going to die. My dad got spooked. He took it, had heart problems already, and all that did was exacerbate him, and my dad was dead 5 months later. And I had begged Dad, begged not to do it. I wasn't mad at him that he did it. And when he told me what the VA hospital told him down in Gainesville in the winter of 21, I could understand my dad, being at the age he was, that would have taken it because he was spooked. He was spooked by it. And this is what these people do, folks. This is what the left does. This is what these elites do. And we got to be stronger than we are. We just do. We got to be stronger. We don't have to be ugly about it. But we don't need to be spooked by this crap and spooked by this nonsense that they put out there. And people are worried about the illegals bankrupting the Medicaid program. I got the greatest solution in the world, and I gave it to you earlier tonight. If you don't want illegals on Medicaid, deport the illegals. That's a good way to get them off the Medicaid rolls. Now, we got a clip tonight. I think we got it. We're going to play some video here in a minute. I want to get right to it and get some of the headlines. But there's a representative out in Missouri tonight that says that the media's claim that the illegals were kept on the Medicaid rolls in this bill is absolutely false. He said that the Senate did not adjust that, as people are claiming, in the House bill, because the House bill refused to finance Medicaid. Murkowski was given promises about Alaska specifically, but we're going to track that story down, and we'll figure all this out. It's so mind-boggling to me what's in that bill right now. I don't want to waste all my show on it, but I do want to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about a little blood libel and play you some video. Some folks are still not quite certain that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are anti-Semitic because there's a connection there, and they want to think the best. Well, we're going to play a couple of videos, and I'll let you make your own call. We fair folks here. We're not Fox News. We're not Fair and Balanced. We are a conservative network, and Chris's opinion is Chris's opinion. I don't try to be fair and balanced. I just tell you what I think. You ain't got to agree with it. There's some people that don't. And there's some people that do, and that's okay. It's what makes the world go around. I've been doing this long enough to realize that not everybody's going to jump on the Mac train, and I don't expect you to. And you can believe what you want to believe, and it's all good. As long as you're kind and polite, you can believe what you want to believe. But it is hilarious. It is hilarious how people just refuse to believe that they both could be this anti-Semitic, and Piers Morgan and Bannon and Alex Jones. And I got a couple of videos I think I'm going to play for you tonight, just to let you hear it out of their own words and make a call, and figure out what you want to do. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight and take your questions at the end. We're going to go a little bit while it's 11 o'clock in the East, 11:20. And we're just grateful you're here tonight. And we hope you enjoyed Professor Nick Giordano earlier tonight. And if you did, put some fire in that house for me. He did good, didn't he? I think he did good. Anyway, fear-mongering and Elaine Wheeler says, I don't see where they were feeding anyone with the USAID, so how are they going to die? Elaine, they're not going to die. It's just a bunch of hogwash. It's just a bunch of hogwash and CNN's crap. And I don't know what report they were. They claimed some think tank came up with this 14 million figure. That's what gets me, is how they come up with these figures that you narrow it down to an exact number of people that's going to die if the USAID goes away. I mean, again, you have to suspend all common sense, which please don't say that out there in that public, because people take that as a challenge when they suspend common sense. But I'll agree with you. I mean, they're not going to die. They're not going to die. They're not going to die, folks. We're going to talk about the Elon Trump Musk brush up a little bit too. Trying to think of a good poll question tonight, and think of a good poll question, and it will be good. And folks, if you've got anything to bring into the chat, please email us at McFiles while I'm talking. We'll take your questions at the end, okay? Please do that, and that will help us and keep you from problems. And we're not trying to be mean, but just keep McFiles at Gmail. If you got a prayer request or something like that, we will be happy to pray for you. We do it every Wednesday night. We do it every Sunday morning. We do it every Sunday night. We even do it in the Bible study. And if it's serious, we'll be glad to pray for you. Because we're trying to do tonight is talk about the news. And it's not that we don't want to pray for you tonight, but send us an email at McFiles, okay? That'll help us. And we'll appreciate that. All righty. Now, I want to get right to the newswire. This is Taylor Lorenz. There's Mr. Piers Morgan. She's trying to justify the chance, and Candace Owens is too. Wait till you hear what Candace Owens has to say about the death to America, death to the IDF chance by Iran. She ain't blaming Iran for it, but this is the lovely Taylor Lorenz, the journalist, and she's saying that when they say death to America, they mean death to American imperialism, that they really, really, really don't mean they want to destroy us. Roll the tape.
People want the public and these artists to have more positive sentiment towards the Israeli military forces.
I don't think anyone wants positive sentiment. I don't know why you twisted it around. We're saying we don't want anyone to call for the death of anyone. I mean, if you are advocating against genocide and you don't want people to be killed, how can you turn around and say at the same breath that you think chanting for death should be contextualized?
That's the guy in the middle making sense. Taylor Lorenz has lost your ever-born natural cotton-picking mind.
Somehow.
Well, yeah, because again, if an army is outraged about that
calling
genocide,
for their death, that's the issue. It's not
calling for the death of a military entity that is currently committing genocide.
And she's not committing genocide, folks. Israel is not. This is blood libel. Let me come over here. Let me just put my screen up here for a minute. Let me just say this. There are just some things that I was telling Professor Nick Giordano, the word due process I am so sick of hearing about due process, and there is already a due process in place for these illegals. And again, he beautifully summed it up. They've got immigration court. That's their due process. They don't have due process under our Constitution for anything. This crap here, I am so sick of hearing Israel's committing genocide. Christians are saying it. Prophets are saying it. Radio hosts are saying it. Networks are saying it. Christians are saying it. Christians are saying it. Christians are saying it. Pastors are saying it. Evangelists are saying it. Everybody's saying it. It's wrong. It's lies. It's blood libel. They're not committing genocide. It's like they're parrots. They got no proof of this. None. 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 I challenge him. Go show me where Israel's committing genocide. Go show me. Go show me why Israel is not justified in defending her nation. Go show me tonight that after your attack, like you were brutally on October the 7th, that going after Hamas, going after the terror entity. By the way, we've got a news story tonight. Trump wanted a ceasefire. Israel said, hey, we'll give him 60 days. You know who's not wanting to agree to the ceasefire? Hamas. They don't want a ceasefire. But they're going out there telling the world, well, they're killing our children, they're killing our mothers, they're killing our women. Without acknowledging what they, Hamas, did to Israel on October the 7th. Israel didn't attack Hamas. But you got idiots like this. And this, folks, I hate to even use that word, but I do. So, like, these idiots believe this stuff. They are all in. I go back to what I said a while ago. So many other people listen to this and they get in on it too because they believe this nonsense. They believe this nonsense. They believe this nonsense. They believe this stupidity. It's blood libel.
You can't, Taylor, you can't keep saying that.
It's a compulsory.
Thank you, Piers. You can't keep saying that. But that she does. And the whole world says it tonight.
You don't even believe that when you're saying it.
Yeah.
If they say death to the British Army, no one's taking that as meaning the institution. They're taking it as meaning British soldiers.
When people say death to America, they mean death to American imperialism.
Are you serious? Is she seriously saying that American imperialism? What American imperialism? Why don't this girl go to the Palestinian territories and live? Why don't she go to Iran and live and go to one of these Arab nations? I wonder. I just wonder, and I don't wish this on her, but I just wonder what would happen to her if she goes to the mullahs, okay, go to Iran, and she gets on some Iranian TV. Of course, she wouldn't be able to get on Iranian TV because the internet's out. They've cut the feed to the outside world of their people. But I wonder if this individual, Miss Taylor Lorenz, whatever her name is, would say this crap about Iran if she went to Iran and said, well, if they're bombing your nuclear plants, they're just bombing you because they're trying to get rid of the Iranian imperialism. Bump, clunk, clunk. She knows that.
That is subjugated.
No, they don't. I mean, death to Americans.
Thank you, Pierce. I don't agree with Pierce Morgan on much, but thank you, Pierce. They mean death to Americans. They mean death to the Jews. What part of this do we not understand? I'm going to go back to my screen tonight. What part of this do we not understand tonight? What part of this do we not understand tonight? It is absolutely, where am I? There we go. It is absolutely
elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. They're saying death to Americans. They're saying death to the Jews. Roll the tape.
As the supreme leader of Iran, what they mean.
I don't think you even believe this as you're saying it, Taylor, do you?
I'm a huge supporter of free speech.
Oh, for God's sake.
When people talk about killing people. All right, but let's go to Hen Mazik, your response to that.
What we hear when we hear death to the IDF is that the only line of defense between Jews and another Holocaust should be eradicated. And we know that it's fact because on October 7th, when the IDF wasn't prepared to what happened in Gaza, we saw the results. And thank God they came on time to stop it from happening all over. By the way, did anyone ever chanted death to Hamas in those festivals? Why is it even happening? It was truly disgusting to so many of us. I never heard about Bob Vila, I don't know if you did before, or even Kneecap. I just heard about them in this context, never heard about them before. But I think artists are using it to become relevant.
What he's talking about there is the British Glastonbury performer McFan or Mafan or something. I don't even know, this guy that was getting on stage basically saying these things, and we yanked his visa. But this chanting death to the IDF and death to America, and she's defending a UK band for chanting death to the IDF at a musical festival on Saturday. And Piers Morgan, by the way, Piers is just as anti-Semitic as her. I'm surprised Piers defended the guy in the middle and went after her. Because he has had Candace Owens on his show, and he's okay with Candace trashing Israel. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. We're going to play a video clip here in a minute. This is blood libel, folks. Let me come back over here. This is blood libel. Please write this down somewhere. Write it on your hand, write it on your forehead, write it on your bathroom wall. Write this down. You know, when we were in kindergarten, the teacher would say, repeat after me. You know, if you got a dunce hat on, you had to go to the chalkboard and write, I will not act like an idiot in a classroom about 100 times. Remember those days? Thank God Chris behaved himself. I never had to do that, but I remember some knucklehead kids that would act up in the classroom. They literally put a hat on them, a dunce hat. They make them write, I will not misbehave in class. I had to make them write it 50 times sometimes, right on the chalkboard. When I hear people like Taylor Lorenz, and these people that say, well, no, they're not talking about killing Americans, they're not talking about killing Jews. Well, if they weren't talking about killing Jews and they weren't talking about killing Americans, why were they trying to build a nuke weapon, Taylor? Just asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. Good Lord have mercy. Good Lord have mercy. Bob Villain, thank you, Cleo. Bob Violin. And Panzer, what half flag are you talking about is an abomination? Excuse me? What half flag are you talking about? I'll start a poll, and thank you, Nick. I'll create that poll tonight. We'll just ask the question, who is right, Trump or Musk? And I'll put it in there. It's good suggestion, because we're going to talk about that in just a second. It's good to see you, Nick. Let me explain the Trump-Musk thing. Musk is out there telling everybody tonight that if this bill passes, and it's close to being passed tomorrow in the thing, and by the way, Mr. Panzer, you don't like my flag, we salute you, but that's my flag. You don't like it? You ain't got to like it. I don't care whether you like it or not. There's a reason why I've got it. But anyway, Trump is telling Musk, I'm going to deport you. Literally, he said they're going to investigate getting Trump out of the getting Musk out of the country. I'm just in a wired up mood tonight, folks. So pardon me if I seem a little McFiles-ish. Good Lord have mercy. I almost put the cowboy hat on tonight. And I said, no, I'm not going to be Cowboy Mac. I'm going to put my patriotic hat. It's Patriotic Week, but I'm in a cowboy mood tonight. So if the Mac man seems a little on edge, it's nothing I've eaten tonight, or I'm in a bad mood. It's just I'm just looking at this stuff, folks, and I'm just sick of this anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic stuff. And I've told the audience before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're anti-Semitic, this ain't you in the wrong dojo here tonight. You in the wrong dojo, period. Because we don't put up with it here. And I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, but Musk is trying to trash the big beautiful bill, and again, he's throwing shade on it, and he's saying that we need to make an American party. I can guarantee you he couldn't get 80 people to join it if he did. He couldn't get 80 people to join it if he did. The only people that are for the American party tonight is Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis retweeted that on his X account tonight and said, I agree with Musk. Well, Tom, why don't you and Elon go start that party and see how far it gets you? You can't even get the support of the North Carolinians that you supposedly represent, which you don't. You let them freeze to death in tents. You let them freeze to death during Hurricane Helene. You let them freaking starve to death over there by not doing a crap thing in D.C. to get funds down there to your people, Tom, your people that you represent. And your other senator is about as worthless. And your governor is about as worthless. Yeah, the feds should have done more. FEMA should have done more. But you know something? Your governor should have done more. Tom, and you should have done more. I've listened to the people in Western North Carolina, and they know exactly where and what the help that they got came from. You know where it came from? Came from Trump. Came from Sean Duffy. Came from Trump. When Trump made office, first thing that happened within 1 month, they had the highway opened again. Those people had funds in their pockets. They had food. They had homes. They were basically being restored immediately upon the inauguration in January. And all I'm hearing right now is that North Carolina is on the mend. No thanks to you, Tom Tillis. So go ahead and start your American Party with Elon. Elon can take his rocket launch and he can get the blank out of the country, as far as I'm concerned. I appreciate what he did with Doge. I appreciate him trying to find the waste and the fraud. He could have played ball with Trump and he could have done a great thing for this nation. But he got his little feelings hurt. And now he's going all out bitter. He's going all out trash. And all I got to say to Elon is this. Elon, you are a billionaire. You are a rocket maker. You are a Telsa owner. I respect you as a businessman, but you're not the president of the United States. You don't make policy. Trump does that. And Congress does that. So if you and Tom want to get together and join the American Party, have at it. I'm all on Team Trump. I'm not on Team Elon. Never have been in this little brush up. He could have handled this a million different ways and not be in this state, but he keeps doing this stuff. He's going to get himself in a mess. I'm just saying, because he don't want to mess with Trump. Going back to this. This is blood libel, folks. This is blood libel. We're going to talk about Jerome Powell here in a little bit tonight. Let's see here. That's my webcam. I took the wrong article down. Speaking of anti-Semitic communist fascist, this is Zoran Mandani. I'll get somebody complaining on my network that you mispronounced the communist name. You mispronounced his name, McDonald. Yeah, I did. This is his view of the socialist world that he wants to make for you New York Cityans. I'm sure you New Yorkers are just biting at the bit to go to the poll and vote for this.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they are given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS.
Did you hear what he just said? By the way, the BDS is basically boycotting Israel over anything they can. Boycott Jewish businesses. That's what they did with the Holocaust, folks. That's what they did in Nazi Germany, this BDS stuff. Boycott. Did you just hear what he said? Did you just catch what this guy said? That socialism, we've got nothing to apologize for? This is the Democrat candidate for mayor of New York City. Thank you, Cleo. Dylan Villain. Thank you. I need that help. Rhymes with Dylan. This guy rhymes with moron. Communist moron.
There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal. We have to ensure
Listen to this.
that we are unapologetic about our socialism.
Unapologetic about our socialism. Folks, this is his future. This is his vision for New York City.
There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right? Or whether it is the end goal of seizing the means of production.
Season means of production. You know what that means tonight? That means taking over businesses. He's already promised that he's going to take over the grocery stores and regulate the prices. He's going to take over the apartment complexes, regulate the rent. Now, to listen to Bill de Blasio says this is heavenly news. The governor of Connecticut out there is praising him as refreshing, a refreshing perspective. I want to tell the Democrats tonight, go make our day. Please put this guy in power. Please. Please. Because you're going to ensure a rout in 2026 in the House and the Senate, and you're probably going to guarantee a Republican in that White House for the next 20 years. Go right ahead.
Where we do not have the same level of support at this very...
You don't think, buddy, you got support? Of course you don't.
And what I want to say is that it is critical that the way that we organize, the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem. Because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right. And
isn't it amazing how these communists and these socialists always tell you that what they're doing is what is right? Have you ever noticed that? They always make that argument, what is right? What is right?
To ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue. The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death.
Wow. I've never heard that one before. That if we don't elect a communist socialist mayor of New York City, we're in the throes of life and death.
For so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them and why those stakes are important and critical to us.
Wow. Well, one thing I will give him, and I think I said this last night, you got to hand it to these Dems. He ain't hiding this. He's not hiding his intentions. And the individual out there saying he's immature, no, he's not. He's not spoiled. He's a communist. Has nothing to do with him being spoiled. No, he's just plain out demonically communist and socialist. Has nothing to do with him being spoiled. It has everything to do with this mindset and this 33-year-old. And let me tell you what's scary, folks. He connected with New York. He evidently connected with somebody up there. And yes, he connected with the young people. But it just wasn't the young people that voted for him. Somebody in New York City said, hey, this is what we want. I never thought they would put Bill de Blasio. He is an outward communist himself. I never thought New York City would do that. And I guess it was Cleo that made the comment to me here recently. She said, it's pretty bad when you're looking at Eric Adams, and Eric Adams lists conservative up against this guy. Because Eric Adams has been a little loony. And I don't know much about the Republican. I've not heard anything bad about him, but I sure ain't heard any raging things that are good. And that's who New Yorkers have got to choose from in November. But that's who is within a hairbreadth of being your mayor. A couple of other headlines tonight that we're going to get some video. The appeals court is probably going to back Trump on this Alien Enemies Act. I hope they do. He's got the right to deport these illegals under that act. He's got a constitutional right to do it. This is a story we're not going to spend a lot of time on, but it's worth mentioning. The University of Pennsylvania is stripping Leah Thomas and of all of her medals that she won in that swim meet, and they have agreed to apologize for allowing this college swimmer to compete on the women's team, and they resolved the Title IX violations. By the way, that's what happens when you have a leader in D.C. that basically told you, Penn, you were not getting another freaking dollar from the federal government until you get this right. They listened, and they got it right. And it basically means that all the girls that came in second and third, they're going to get the medals, and they're going to strip her of everything. That's what they should have done. And it's not a her. I should correct myself. It is a man. It is a man in a woman's fog, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what you call it. That's a man right there. That's a man. I'm going to say something. I got to quote my poem from the radio show today. Might get in trouble for it. Roses are red. Violets are blue. God made men. He didn't make you sue. That's pretty good. I just made that up. Roses are red. Water is wet. Violets are blue. God made men. He didn't make them sue. And I'm not talking about the legal term. Good for you, Penn. They saw Jesus. They've come to the light. They've come to the light. Now, this is the story tonight. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to play some video. I'm going to read this out of Breitbart. Israel has agreed to a ceasefire in Gaza tonight, 60 days. Trump just issued this afternoon, about 5 hours ago, and that Hamas should take the deal because this will not get better for them. And this is what he wrote on Truth Social. I'll read it. My representatives have had a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war. The Qataris, the Egyptians, who have worked very hard to help bring peace, will deliver this final proposal. I hope for the good of the Middle East that Hamas takes the deal, because it will not get better, it will only get worse. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I got to laugh about that last statement. He said that to the mullahs. Thank you for this attention. When Trump is putting that at the end of his True Social post, what he's basically telling you, you got a choice. you That is Trump's version. That is Trump's version of the McFiles version of this right here. Just for you, Jenny Castellanova.
Do you understand the words
Yes.
that are coming out of my mouth?
That is Trump's version of, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thank you for the attention to this matter. I'm probably going to lose all my new followers on X tonight. They're probably going to say, oh, I don't know if I like this guy or not. But that's okay. We let it all hang out. But this is huge news. Now, I got a few thoughts about the ceasefire. And I'm not going to get into the weeds of it tonight. We'll probably pick this up Thursday night. We'll definitely deal with it on the show tomorrow, on the radio show. But listen, if I'm Israel, I'm holding firm about those hostages. They're agreeing to a ceasefire, but one of the elements of that ceasefire is that the Hamas terrorists return every single hostages. They do not want 2 or 3 released. They want them all. Both those that are alive. There's about 20 of them that are alive, and I think there's another 30 that has been confirmed dead. They want their bodies back, if they have even saved their bodies. The way Hamas is, there's no telling. What makes me absolute befuddled is why Hamas is not jumping on this right now. This is the chance for them to walk away with some dignity, if there is any left. But they don't care, folks, and this should tell you right there who's the perpetrator in Gaza and who ain't. And again, I'm going to say it again tonight on the record. And by the way, this flag back here is not an abomination. It is a warning to our nation that our future is connected to that one over there, to the other side. That's why I fly it. I love both nations. I'm an American. I'm not an Israeli. I'm an American first. But I recognize biblically that without Israel, the Middle East, folks, there is a reason why Israel's in that Middle East. It's biblical, it's spiritual. I don't have time to get into it tonight. But America's future is tied in many ways to this nation. Many ways to this nation. Now, Israel does not need to accept this ceasefire until those conditions are met. And if Hamas don't want to do it, then there's not going to be any ceasefire. I don't know. That may be our question Thursday night. Do you think Hamas will agree to the ceasefire? I don't. I may be shocked. I may be wrong. When Trump says, thank you for your attention to this matter, he's pretty much telling him, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And I don't know if Hamas is or not tonight. I don't know if Hamas is or not. All right, now, that's the headlines on the stories. I'm going to come over here where I got my stage. There's Nick. He's not with us tonight. He was with us earlier tonight. You've got the one at the top, the Mac Man. I'm just in one of those wired up moods tonight, folks. If I'm coming across a little snarky and catty, I don't mean to be. Actually, I do. But anyway, actually, I do. Who's kidding who? I'm just in a catty mood tonight. I am in a catty mood. This is Chad Pegram today on the Big Beautiful Bill. I want you to listen to this. This is his take on what happened today. Roll the tape.
John, good afternoon. It was high drama to pass the bill in the Senate. The House is the next stop. One of the biggest advocates for the bill is Oklahoma Republican Mark Wayne Mullen. He served as a liaison between the Senate and the House.
I do believe we have a good chance to get it done. I can't speak for the House. I make myself very available to the Speaker and to the House. If I need to come back in town, I'll be happy to come back into town and visit with them.
There were 3 GOP no's in the Senate: Susan Collins, Tom Tillis, and Rand Paul. Collins says reductions to Medicaid funding could threaten rural hospitals. That's why she voted no. Senators added $50 billion to boost those hospitals. That helped score the vote of Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski.
The problem was around the cost cutting, the cost savings, Medicaid, how it affected our state. We came up with a fix to basically increase the rural hospital account, doubled it, and that will help all of our states. So, just methodically working through how this bill affects Alaska.
This is why we hate politicians. This is why we hate politicians. All this backstabbing, backroom conniving they put in these bills is sickening.
The question is if the House will accept the altered Senate bill so quickly. Some House conservatives don't like how the Senate changed the bill the House approved back in May.
The Senate right now is messing up the bill and risking the whole thing. This is the Senate wanting to try to save some for their home states, like Senator Murkowski for Alaska, trying to get...
I wish Chip Roy would just hush his mouth, vote for the bill. It ain't going to get any better, Chip. You're just grandstanding. This is why we hate politicians. This is why we hate politicians.
Giveaways to perpetuate the Medicaid money laundering.
And Chip, you do the same thing. You do the same thing for Texas, so give me a break.
Scam in Alaska. I think this is a travesty that the Senate is going to risk the ability of us to deliver for the American people.
No, it ain't the Senate. It's now on you, Chip. It's now on you. This is why we hate politicians, folks. It's why we hate politicians. It's why we hate politicians in D.C.
Now the House plans to vote as early as tomorrow afternoon. Senior sources say they will apply peer pressure on reluctant GOP members to vote yes, plus they expect President Trump to push members to pass the bill before July 4th. John?
Based on what we've heard from a couple of intransigent Republicans, they might need an awful lot of peer pressure. Chad, thank
Ralph
you so
Norman
much.
just indicated that he would be a no on the rule here, and Andy Harris, Republican of Maryland, he indicated that this might take a few more days. We'll see what that peer pressure is like, especially coming from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's tomorrow. It all starts. Here's President Trump tonight.
President Obama was a terrible president.
President Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. President Bush should not have gone into the Middle East and blown the place up. So I don't give him high marks either. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I give Trump very high marks. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, he said he gives himself high marks. That's our president. That's what we voted for. I agree. I think his sentiment is absolutely on target there. This is, let's see here. This is CNN having to admit that Trump is rocking the House right now. 63% of Republicans say that he's doing a good job. Roll tape.
I mean, every politician would like this number here, especially to see it go up. How about compared to other presidents who were Republicans?
Yeah, it's history making. It's history making. What are we talking about here? So why don't we look back? We have all the presidents, Republican presidents, going back over the last 35, 36, 37 years. What are we talking about? GOP, who strongly approved 5 months in. Look at this. George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, 46%. Bush 43, 59. You see Trump, the first term, 53. But look at this. 63%. He beats all the other Republicans on the board here, and I was looking even back since Reagan. And get this, Donald Trump beats Ronald Reagan when it comes to the strongly approved 5 months. And of course, Reagan was coming off that high after that assassination attempt. So the bottom line is Donald Trump is making history with the Republican base. He is more beloved by this Republican base than any Republican base loved any GOP president 5 months in. It is history making.
This is history making, and it's because this is what we voted for. This is what we voted for. This is Tucker. I'm going to get to the blood libel here real quick. A couple of videos. I want to play Danny Deutsch first. Not a big fan of Deutsch, but he said something tonight on his program, I think it's MSNBC, that I do agree with. Why don't you listen to this?
I'm outraged that we have a candidate for mayor of New York, Mr. Mandani, that cannot walk back or cannot condemn the words globalize the intifada. And his nuance of, well, it means different things to different people. Let me tell you what it means to a Jew. It means violence. It means October 7th. It means firebombing people in Colorado. It means violence. That's the connotation. That's the essence of it. And that's what it means to Jewish people. And if any other group came forward and said, you know what, these words are offensive to us, it means violence, it frightens us, I think there'll be a response. But for some reason, if Jewish people find it offensive, it's not offensive. And I find it offensive that he cannot condemn those words.
Very well said. By the way, I wonder if Mandani was to go say kill the blacks. What do you think would happen in this country? What if he said kill the Chinese? What if he said kill Hispanics? Just a thought. Folks, the left is melting down tonight over the Alligator Alcatraz. Joy Reid's out there claiming that that's Trump's concentration camp down there. That all of his political enemies are headed down there, and he's feeding them to the alligators. That's Joy Reid. Yeah, that Joy Reid, the MSNBC nut that even MSNBC couldn't stomach. That's pretty bad when MSNBC can't stomach you. That's what she's saying. Danny Deutsch makes a great point. When it's the Jews being told to kill the Jews, F the Jews, death to Israel, nobody says nothing. Nobody cares. You put any other group in that, and you see what happens. See what happens. Great point. I don't necessarily like Deutsch, or whatever his name is. Chris is horrible with names. I can see it on my epitaph when I die. He died mispronouncing somebody's name, and somebody killed him. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Deutsch. But his point is well taken. His point is well taken. Well, enter Tucker Carlson, and I think this is Piers, actually. I'm going to just change the headline here. This is Candace, so I'll be able to pull it up. This is him talking to the illustrious Candace Owens, which made his comments to Taylor Lorenz almost seem stupid. But this is him and Candace talking about Israel. I want you to listen to this. Roll tape. We're going to take your questions shortly.
When the leader of Iran says death to America, why doesn't that concern you?
That's a chant. And by the way, I want to be very clear. Why are they chanting death to America? Why are they chanting that? That's kind of a random thing.
Why are they chanting death to America, Candace? I wonder. Wow. Same question he asked Taylor Lorenz. I want you to listen to what she has to say here now. Listen carefully.
I don't
because they want Americans dead.
But why do they want? Why are they specifically chanting as opposed to saying, I don't know, death to China or death to Russia? What is it specifically about
Well, they say
America?
death to America, death to Israel, death to the United Kingdom, actually.
Oh, okay.
Death to pretty much anyone that wants to stand up to them.
Could have had something to do with our actions in the Middle East is why I'm saying that we need a change in foreign policy, and maybe it has something to do with just like killing 1 million Iraqi civilians, okay, because
she's blaming Bush. The Iraq war was not handled the best. We thought they were weapons of mass destruction. So she's blaming Bush, but I want you to see how quickly this turns into something else. Watch this. Watch this.
Netanyahu got on a congressional stage and said there are weapons of mass destruction.
That's a lie right there. That is blood libel. Bibi Netanyahu, she says, got on the stage and says they're weapons of mass destruction. Let me tell you where America got its intelligence from, folks, for the Iraqi war. They got it from Jordan. They got it from Australia. Israel's Mossad did say they had weapons of mass destruction. The Saudis told Bush Jr. that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. The UK told Bush. Tony Blair, that's why Tony Blair went right along with what Bush did. Tony Blair lost his political clout around the world when he backed Bush's play in this. I remember those videos. I remember those press conferences like it was yesterday. I was actually working up in Minnesota, traveling with this photography company I was with the night we invaded Iraq, and I remember it like yesterday watching him and Blair defend this war, and Tony Blair's popularity plummeted immediately after this. The UK was all on board that this was right. By the way, Colin Powell, our own CIA told Bush that. Colin Powell went to the UN with a straight face and said he's got weapons of mass destruction. But guess who she blames for this? Guess who she blames? That's a lie. Because if Bibi even did get on the stage and say that, he wasn't the only one saying it. But the insinuation was that he himself, Israel, put America in the Iraqi war.
We took that to the bank, and there actually were no weapons of mass destruction, so we just killed 1 million. It could have something. I could be crazy.
I think you are crazy.
Something.
You're a crazy, anti-Semitic, vile individual, Candace. Can I just be blunt with you? You are crazy.
To do with our actions in the Middle East, the fact that we have 2,000 troops stationed in Syria right now under the guise of saying that we're fighting ISIS, while at the same time we know that Bibi Netanyahu funded the Al-Qaeda adjacent front because he wanted to overthrow.
She's now saying that Israel was behind ISIS. No proof of this, mind you. But just throw crap on a wall, throw turd on a wall. Disparage Israel, disparage the nation of Israel. Disparage the nation of Israel. Disparage Bibi Netanyahu, who I'm not here to defend tonight. I'm not here to defend anything Israel's doing, neighbor. They're a nation. But I know where their spiritual path is going. I know where their political path is going. I know what the Bible tells me that they're headed. But this is blood libel. It's what we call blood libel.
Syria, and they again expand their borders, immediately take on territory, and sell us absolute nonsense.
By the way, I meant to bring that story in tonight. We will do this Thursday, either tomorrow night or on Thursday. The Golan Heights tonight, Syria. Did you hear the crap about Syria that Israel expanded into the Syrian? That's what she's referring to. The Syrians tonight are offering an olive branch to Israel and telling Israel, we're going to give you the Golan Heights. Because when the Syrians attacked Israel in the 1967 war, and I think I take that back, it was the 1973 war of Yom Kippur, the Israelis captured the Golan Heights from Syria after they were attacked first. They didn't excursion and just go take it from the Syrians. They won that land back from the Syrians when the Syrians attacked Israel. The Syrians are telling Israel, we're going to let you have it. If you'll make peace with us, we're going to let you have it. Lie number 2, among many lies that comes out of this vile anti-Semite's mouth.
Talking about funding Hamas. Bibi Netanyahu funded Hamas.
Did you just hear that? Even Bibi Netanyahu funded Hamas. No proof. She's not producing any proof here. Just the Bible. Blood libel. Lies. Lies.
There's footage of Bibi Netanyahu saying this stuff on camera.
Why don't you show it to us, Candace? You're a big social media personality. You're a social media darling. Show it. Show it.
So it's just so ridiculous to me to pretend that they're in some predicament, that they may be eradicated soon, which is why they have to keep funding all of these terrorist groups and then pretend that they're victims of terror, when in fact they are people that are imparting.
Now do you see Piers? Shaking his head. Blood libel.
It worldwide.
Now, let me put this in perspective for you again tonight, folks. We're almost done. We're going to take your questions. You know don't forget the question he asked her. Why is it justified that Iran is screaming death to America, death to Israel? Piers said they're even saying death to the UK. This is her justification. She's not saying that Iran is at fault for doing that. She's blaming us.
No, I just think that, like I said, Generation 9/11 has grown up, and I think that our eyes are very clear here, and we recognize that our relationship with Israel has become increasingly problematic.
I want to ask you a question tonight, and you can talk about this in our Q&A we're about to get to. How has our relationship with Israel become problematic? It's only problematic to the anti-Semites. It's only problematic to these anti-Semitic prophets and these anti-Semitic preachers. It's only problematic to these Clay Stu Peters of the world and the Tucker Carlsons of the world and to the Alex Jones of the world and the Steve Bannons of the world and the Candace Owens of the world. Some other names I wish I could mention tonight, but I'm going to be kind. But that's the only people that Israel's existence is problematic to, are people like this, and basically her enemies.
It always was problematic. So I'll again ask the question.
It was always problematic. That's what she's saying.
Questions, Piers, I'm asking you because we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Name something positive that our Zionist
That's a slur. That's a slur. You Bible students, we talked about this very thing this morning. Zionist. They use that word Zionist a lot. Anti-Semites love that word. They love to use it. And that's a slurry, slanderous word for people who simply believe Israel has a right to that land that she's on tonight.
AIPAC foreign policy has brought to America.
Wow. That's just brutal. That's just brutal. That was just recently. Looked like it was the same night that he interviewed Taylor Lorenz. Candace Owens and Taylor need to get roommates. They need to be roommates. Of course, Candace is married, so probably couldn't do that. But, interesting. Here's Tucker Carlson and Margie Taylor Greene. You're going to hear some of the same crap. Before I do that, I want to play you this pastor. I want you to listen to this crap. This is coming from a pastor. 2 more videos, and then I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I got a lot more, but we're out of time.
And, of course, we have Ted Cruz saying, oh, when I was in Sunday school, I learned that God's going to bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, but you know what? Your Sunday school teacher taught you false doctrine. I learned the same thing in Sunday school. I was also taught that false doctrine. And then Tucker Carlson...
You're spewing false doctrine, sir.
Asked him, where is that in the Bible?
Yeah, Tucker did ask him, and Ted had a weak answer. But the problem wasn't with Ted Cruz.
I mean, it's in there. Just look it up.
See, he's expecting Ted Cruz to be the preacher. This is Stu Peters, pastor, by the way. Stu Peters reposted this video and said, this is the only true man of God in America right here.
Here's what's funny about that is, bro just finished telling us that his entire foreign policy is predicated upon the biblical teaching that God will bless those who bless Israel.
Do you believe God will bless Israel? Bless those that bless Israel tonight, folks? If you do, put a thumbs up in the house. And if you don't, you can put a thumbs down. What do you think out there?
And then he's like, I don't know where it is in the Bible. And Tucker Carlson's like, so you don't know where that is in the Bible? No. And you know what's funny is that it's in Genesis chapter 12, way before the person Israel had even been born, let alone the nation of Israel. It's a promise made to the person Abraham. The promise is made to Abraham and to his seed. And then we have in the New Testament, Galatians chapter 3, very clearly saying it's not seeds plural, its seed singular, which is Jesus Christ.
And that is a half-truth, folks. That's why all false doctrine that comes into the church comes in on the back of truth. And he is right and he is wrong. There is a seed. And if he would understand the relationship of the church and Israel, he would understand that what Paul was saying is that the seed of Jesus Christ is called out both Jew and Gentile into one body, but it does not negate God's promises to the nation of Israel, who is of the seed of Abraham. And the blessing of Abraham was Jesus Christ, who was a Jew, who this gentleman does not, I guess, seem to understand. But this is Tucker and Margie Taylor Greene, and I'll let them just speak for themselves. This is blood libel. If I can find it, I just had it. Give me 1 second here. I just had it right here. This is Tucker and Miss MTM or MTG.
And there is a feeling among a lot of Protestant Christians that we have a moral obligation to support the secular government of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
That God tells us that we have to fight these wars for the secular government of Israel, not for the ancient nation of Israel or the Jewish people, but for the secular government.
That supports abortion and supports LGBTQ and trans.
2 questions.
I'm going to back that up. Did you hear what you just said? You missed that. You can't miss this. This is very important what you just said. Because this is how the anti-Semitic spirit operates. This is anti-Semitism 101, what you just said. I want you to go back, listen to Margie Taylor Greene closely when Tucker talks to her about supporting Israel. And I want you to listen to what she says closely there, folks. Listen.
Secular government of Israel, not for the ancient nation of Israel or the Jewish people, but for the secular government.
That supports abortion.
Does America not support abortion? She's talking about Israel tonight. Does not America support abortion? Does not China support abortion? Do you realize you can't even have more than 2 kids in China? The third one is dead upon arrival. They come into your hospital room and kill your baby. They force abortions on their women in China. Did I hear her say that China supported abortion? Nope. Sure didn't. I didn't hear her say any other nation supported abortion. Keep going.
And supports LGBTQ.
Are we not supporting Pride? We got a whole freaking month in America that we celebrate Pride. Does she mention that? Nope. Nope.
And trans.
Folks, President Trump is doing his best to get this transgender agenda out of our schools, but it's been there. And he can only do so much. It's still going to be part of our DNA. It's part of our society right now. But her insinuation is it's only Israel that does those things. It's only Israel that supports abortion. It's only Israel that supports LGBTQ. It's only Israel that supports transgenderism. Hear this tonight. You don't have to believe this, and you can follow all you want to, all these people that are telling you that the current nation of Israel is not the Israel of the Bible. Folks, that's a fallacious lie. Going on record, you don't have to agree with that. You don't have to believe that. That is a fallacious lie of Satan. What Israel is God going to deal with in the end times if it's not this current state of Israel that was reformed after 1900 years of being scattered all over the earth? What nation is it then? Is there going to be another Israel that just falls out of the sky like pixie dust?
2 questions. One, what kind of reaction have you gotten from those voters, many of whom are like some of the best people I know? I just want to say
Oh, they're great.
They're great. And second, where does that come from, that belief?
Mm-hmm. I think, I'm sure some of them are mad at me right now. I can totally...
I'm not mad at you, Margie. I think you've lost your freaking natural cotton-picking mind. I'm not mad at you. I never have liked you a lot to begin with. I like some of your views on some things, but on this... You're sounding like a Candace Owens clone, and you're sounding like a Tucker Carlson clone. You're sounding like an anti-Semitic clown.
Expect that and understand it, and I'm sure we'll work it out. You know, from my opinion, it is embedded in our education system. We're taught all these things. We're, of course, taught about the Holocaust, taught about the nation of Israel. It's embedded in our education. but it's also embedded in church.
Where it needs to be embedded. It's embedded in our education. It's embedded in our church. Wow. Like that's a bad thing. Folks, I'm going to ask you a question, just a request. Don't be putting disparaging remarks about people's faith. I don't want to hear about she needs to repent and she needs to be saved. You don't know her soul. You don't know her heart. These comments are coming from Satan. These comments are blood libel. We don't know the heart of these people. So don't do that. I don't know what her problem is. I'm talking about how this blood libel, though, I'm going to tell you what's the problem tonight. It's going to get people killed. This is what's driving this pro-Hamas, pro-terrorism, pro-anger in our country tonight. And her comment there, well, it's in the church. Well, it should be in the church, Marjorie. The problem is what's in the church is worse than what's in that secular world. Folks, I've read some stuff. Look, I love the Swaggart family. I don't know them personally. I've met Brother Swaggart 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years, and you know, he's been very cordial to me, and we didn't have it. We talked the first time I met him, we talked for about 15, 20 minutes, and my mom and dad, of course, we're from Atlanta, and I was raised at the First Assembly of God Church. Jimmy Mayo, who was a very big Pentecostal pastor in Atlanta in the Southeast. He probably brought a lot of the message of the Holy Spirit to the Southeast. And he had Brother Swaggart at his church all the time. And I never will forget that one night Brother Swaggart was there and Jimmy Mayo told the congregation, he said, y'all better be grateful for him being here tonight. He won't be here much longer because he's about to touch this world for God. And Jimmy Mayo was right. And, you know, it was sad today what happened, but I have been appalled today. I have been appalled at the stuff that I've seen out there on this internet coming from Christians. I'm appalled at this blood libel. It's coming from Christians. I'm appalled by it. And we should all be. It's not based on truth. It's not based on truth. We need to pray for these people. We need to pray for them. We need to pray for them. Anyway, all right, I'm done. It's 12:15. I got to get out of here. Trump 96-4. Who is right in this? Good to see Tony Salamone in the house, and good to see you. Good to see you, buddy. Really am. Facebook. A lot of thumbs up tonight. Good to see Gail Myers, Kathy Smith-Williams, Anna, Sarah Palagia. Good to see you tonight. Tim Neal Sr., Joan, Paulina Valdez. Good to see you. Adrian Graham. He says Jim Jones was also pushing socialism. Yes, he was. I laugh at that, but you're right, Mr. Graham. He was. We saw that ended, didn't we? 900 people drinking cyanide-laced Kool-Aid. Well said. Sort of like the Kool-Aid drinkers tonight, don't it? Very, very, very true. All right, you got time, sure time, your moment. You got 15 minutes. Any questions, comments? I want to read something Cleo wrote about Saddam. She said, Saddam always denied he had WMD. Iran is not the same. There was actual proof that the Iranians themselves boasted of their nuclear program. That is well said, my friend. Well said. We had a reason to do what we did Saturday night was a week ago. Israel had a right to be concerned about her safety as it related to this regime in Iran. She had a right to do that. She had a right to defend herself. She still has a right to defend herself. All righty. You got a question? Put it in the house, folks. It's late. It's late. It's late. Any questions out of YouTube tonight? Any questions? Yolanda says, that's my main reason why I'm a loyal Trump supporter and pro-life because of his Whatever. Good deal. Good to see everybody. It really is. Nick, good to see you. Cuomo may still run as an independent. He faces obvious challenges after his mismanagement of COVID and scandals. God only knows. That's true, my friend. And he's got some legal problems because a lot of people want to see him in jail for what he did to those people in the nursing homes. And I'm not going to say I disagree with that. Not going to say I disagree with that. If you got a question, folks, you got to tell. Look, if you ain't got a question, I'm going to wrap it up because it's late. It's after midnight. Any questions, any comments? Any questions, any comments? Did you enjoy the late night show? Put some fire in that house. We encourage you to join us tomorrow on the K-Star Talk Radio. I'm still waiting for your questions before I leave. If you got some time tomorrow between 2 and 3, come on and join us. You'll hear a lot of this again tomorrow, some of it tomorrow. We'll have some other new stuff down there tomorrow that we didn't talk about tonight here. Folks, we've got the Bible study tomorrow. We'll have a Wednesday night faith show. We may have a intermediate show tomorrow because, again, we're trying to cram everything we can at the next day or two because we're only going to be here 2 more days, and then we're going to take a full week off starting Friday. We will not be with you Sunday. We'll be back the 13th. Now, that depends on the funeral with Brother Swaggart. If I go to Baton Rouge, we may not be back with you until that night. What we may do is come on Saturday night and have the Sunday morning service Saturday night. But we got the full gauntlet tomorrow night and Thursday night of shows. And we encourage you to be with us 2 to 3, K-Star Talk Radio every day. And you'll get to hear me run my mouth, not see my face. But anyway, good to see everybody out there tonight. Elaine Willard still with us tonight. Good to see you, buddy. She's staying up late. Good to see you. Eva Gorecki, good to see you. Didn't see you earlier, but good to see you, my friend. Just making sure I don't miss nobody here. If I haven't called your name out, don't take it personally. I'm just sort of... Natalie Taylor's in the house. Good to see her. Certainly good to see Cleo. Mary Cleveland, good to see you. Susan Prusky, Appy Girl. Charlotte Lovelace, good to see you. Jennifer, good to see you. Dear Lori Risenhauer. Mark, good to see you. We're just grateful that you're here tonight. Riku, good to see you. Bear, good to see you. 95-5. I think it's given that not too many people, the Polians, I don't think not too many people are going to be joining the Elon Musk American Party. That is a given. That is a given. All right. Be with me in the morning. We got some good stuff to share with you. I want you to come be with me in the morning. It's going to be good stuff. I got something I want to share with you about Brother Swaggart's death. And I don't want to mention it tonight, but I want to share with you some thoughts. And we're going to go finish up Hosea tomorrow and Thursday, Lord willing. And if you have an hour in the morning, it's a good study. And we've been doing this for almost 3 years now. Almost 425 Bible studies that we've done so far. And the Lord's helped us do it, and we've enjoyed them. It's my favorite time of the day. And then tomorrow night, our faith show. I'm not sure what we're going to do just yet, but we'll talk about something. We'll talk about something, that's for sure. But may the Lord bless you tonight. And let me just say it again. These comments and these opinions, folks, are mine. Chris gets a little wired up sometimes. I will tell you, folks, I'm not going to lie to you. Look, this blood libel gets under my skin. It is good to see Nick tonight. Nick, it's really good to see you, buddy. I appreciate you coming in. It's really good to see you tonight. And I know Cleo was responding to you, and I wanted to read your comment, though, because it's really good, because Cuomo has got he's got a lot of baggage, but he's going to try to run. Look, I don't think Cuomo, I can't really put my finger on whether he was serious with his run or he really thought he could beat this socialist. I'm floored. I'm floored that this Donnie has got this far. I really am. But going back to me tonight, these opinions are mine. And if you've been around us any length of time for 7.5 years, there are certain nights that Chris is a little bit more wired than others. But this blood libel gets under my skin, folks. It gets me boiling. You know, I've got no problem with people disagreeing with Israel's actions as a nation. I disagree with my own government's actions as a nation. I don't mind people being concerned about us being drawn into a Middle East conflict. None of us want war. I wonder if these same people that say all this crap believe that the Israeli government literally sits around at night and says, let's go to a war with somebody so people can die. That's what they're basically saying with all this. Israel is fighting a war on 7 fronts right now. You realize that? 7. You can say 6 now because one of them got neutralized Saturday night, was a week ago. But they still have enemies. And what happens with these accords and what's happening with the ceasefire, folks, it's only going to be temporary. It's only going to be temporary. Temporary maybe 3 years. Temporary maybe 2 years. Temporary maybe 5 years, 6 years. I don't know. But I can tell you tonight, there is only going to be a temporary pause in this violence if it stops. It's not going to be forever. And I'm giving you that as sound, biblical, McFile advice tonight. And I'm telling you that this spirit of anti-Semitism and these things that you're hearing, it's setting the stage for something to come where Israel is going to be pressed in on every side and she's going to have nowhere to turn but up. And I think what this is doing is driving the Jews to come to realize the only safe place they have is not here in America anymore. It's back at their homeland. It's back at their homeland. And we'll talk about that more in the weeks to come. Listen, I love you so much. You know me, I'm a teddy bear. If I'm screaming and yelling, I'm not screaming at you. I am screaming with you. But these opinions are mine. You have a right to disagree. You don't have to believe what I'm telling you. I'm not going to dislike you if you don't. I just want you to be respectful and not call my flag here an abomination. You don't even know what an abomination is. I'm going to say it again as I go out of here tonight. Let me illustrate this to you. This nation right here, which I love with all my heart and soul, because I'm an American. And I love America. This is God's nation. In God we trust. We were founded to spread the gospel and to support this nation. That's why we were created. And let me tell you this. In all the Word of God, I do not find this nation mentioned once. Not once. I find this nation mentioned 767 times. Zion is mentioned 150 times. Jacob is mentioned 200 times. Jacob is a surname for Israel. Jerusalem itself, the city of David, the city of God, is mentioned 700 times. That sort of tells me that in the mind of God, and what I know about what's coming, Israel's going to be here standing when it's over, folks. Where does America stand then, you say, Chris? I don't know. But I do know one thing. If there is any hope for our survival, our hope for survival does not rest in the U.S. military. It does not rest in Donald Trump. He won't be here forever anyway. Even if it did rest in him tonight, he's only here for 3 more years. You heard Professor Nick say that tonight. But one thing I can guarantee, if this nation ever turns its back fully on this nation will go into the trash can of history. And you don't have to agree with that tonight. Many don't. Because I hear from them every day and out there, and I hear the snurty comments, and it's okay. It's all right. Chris used to get offended at stuff like that. Chris has learned to chill. Chris has learned to chill. Sometimes. But I can tell you right now, folks, our future as a nation is dependent upon this one. We're going to celebrate 249 years Friday. Next year will be 250 years. Do you realize that there are empires of the past that has not lasted this long, and they have done far less sinning and far less evil than we've done as a nation? And this is what made Marjorie Taylor Greene's comment so repulsive. She never one time mentioned that America was doing the same thing, those things that she claimed Israel was doing. Just food for thought. Food for thought tonight. Food for thought.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
It's elementary, my dear Watson. God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless this great nation of America. I will see you back here in the morning on the Bible study. Please join me on the Faith Network, and we'll be back here Thursday night for a final show for a while. And we're going to miss you, but we need the break. And if something earth-shattering happens, I promise we will be in a remote place and we'll have a computer with us. We'll get on and do what we can. But I need a break to get my thoughts together and pray about the future of this network. We're not going nowhere. I'm not talking about quitting or anything like that. Y'all stuck with me. Y'all are just, I'm going to be on here, you know. I'm going to be on here, you know. Whoever is here is whoever's here. But just the direction, some things we're going to be changing up here probably late summer into the fall of next year. Listen, God bless you out there tonight. Be blessed. We hope you had a good night with us. We've had 2 good shows, I believe, and we hope that you've enjoyed them. And may the Lord bless you. And we will see you back here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And take care of yourself out there and be safe. Good night, everybody.